49-0. That was the final score last year in the Red River rivalry. We know Oklahoma is better this year, but by how much? Can the Sooners at least cover the number or maybe even pull the outright upset? I've got a trend you're going to want to stay tuned for, hitting 59% ATS this season. But right now, let's dig in to the biggest game of the weekend in college football, Oklahoma versus Texas, right now here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So the first thing you need to know here for this top 25 matchup is neither team fell for the dreaded look-ahead spot last Saturday. Oklahoma clobbered Iowa State, who in the past had been a tough out for them. But this time, it was 50-20 in favor of the Sooners in Norman, and they covered the 19-point spread. With that ATS win, OU joins UNLV, Oregon, and Penn State as the only 5-0 ATS teams in the country. One of those, I think, doesn't belong, that being UNLV. The other three also 5-0 straight up. But the Sooners are going to be an underdog here for the first time this season. They're taking on a Texas team that just dismantled Kansas 40-14. Real beatdown Saturday in Austin. The Longhorns, they too covered a double-digit spread. Caught a bit of a break as well when Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels was a late scratch due to a back injury. However, even if Daniels had played, you have to think it wouldn't have been enough to change the final outcome. The Longhorns end up with a 661-260 edge in total yards. They were 33-11 in first downs. Running back Brooks, he looks like a star. They don't need Bijan Robinson anymore in Austin, apparently, because Brooks goes for 218 yards over land on 21 carries against the Jayhawks. Oklahoma, they also had no problems on offense on Saturday. They score 40 in the first half against Iowa State, who's usually a pretty stout defensive team. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel completed 67% of his pass attempts for 366 yards and accounted for 5 touchdowns, 3 passing and 2 rushing. On defense, the Sooners got an early pick 6, and they pitch a second-half shutout against Iowa State. It was interesting that OU allowed 20 points in the first half, considering they'd allowed just 34 points total in the first 4 games combined. So was that first half defensive performance against Iowa State a sign of things to come, or was it an outlier? We're going to see here who is going to cover the spread Saturday at noon Eastern in Dallas. Well, there's one key trend that points to Texas. Ranked favorites this season. 52, 36, and 3 ATS. That is 59%. Texas, of course, comes into this game ranked number 3 in the country. Oklahoma not too far behind at number 12. Longhorns currently laying 6 points. That is up from an opener of -5, so perhaps early bettors know about that trend I just laid out for you. Interestingly enough, neither team was actually ranked going into last year's meeting. The Longhorns, they closed -8 in what I said at the top, turned into a 49-0 beatdown. So odds makers think the gap between the two schools is pretty similar this year, although both teams clearly better, and this number now sits on the other side of 7. Also interesting is that last year marked the first time Texas was favored in the Red River rivalry going back to 2009. It ended up being their biggest margin of victory in series history and their first shutout of OU since 1965. Now, blowouts like last season, uncommon in the Red River rivalry. 8 of the last 10 meetings have still been decided by 8 points or less. OU had beaten Texas 4 straight times prior to last year. The Sooners are 10-4 straight up, but only 6-8 ATS the previous 14 meetings. So who covers the number here? We know Oklahoma's thinking revenge, but I think Texas is just plain better and is going to end the Sooners' unbeaten ATS run. Something tells me, though, it won't be the last time these teams meet in 2023. I'm banking on a rematch in the Big 12 championship game. If you liked what you saw here, what you heard, be sure to give this video a like and consider subscribing to the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Also, use the code POWER7, that's P-O-W-E-R, number 7, that's all caps on Power, by the way, to get 7 days of winners from yours truly for just $79. As a reminder, just won our big 5% NFL play over the weekend as the Bills crushed the Dolphins 48-20, the previously unbeaten Dolphins, who had just scored 70 points the previous week, oh, by the way. I'm now a perfect 3-0 the last 3 weeks with 5% football plays. That includes 2-0 in college. Not to mention, I'm hitting 80% this season with NFL sides. Now, if you're looking for more game previews, stats, and trends, be sure to click the next video.